When you love your 250R, you break out the Dremel. It's been about 12 years since I messed with an OEM linkage. I actually forgot how kind of a bad design they are, being they're just a bushing with grease setup. But luckily, the last few years I've invested in these nice little ball hones, so I'm going to use it on this guy. I'm pretty excited about it. What's up, guys? Now that I'm done spending 2 hours of my life cleaning that awful linkage up, it's looking brand new again. So the previous owner actually did a nice job having this chrome plated, which is pretty cool. But now the real fun is going to start. We're going to get this bike together. So let's check out all the parts that we're actually going to be installing on the Project 250R. So as you guys saw in a previous video, we've got this 18.5 eye-to-eye swing arm all welded up. So we've added the chain guide, which is going to go right here. Also got a nice chain block that we produce in-house. And one cool thing about this swing arm, it actually converts over to a TRX450R carrier, axle, and brakes. I did not want to run all the old brakes that came on this bike, so I actually sold everything. And we've got a nice RPM Dominator 2 axle sitting right here. Elk rear shock. That's the stock style linkage for the 250R. TRX caliper. So this is all TRX450R. Our billet brake block off. TRX450R disc and bolts and sprocket. And this sprocket is actually similar to the TRX250R one. And of course, we've got the TRX hubs. Now, we've added a couple extra cool parts to this. So we actually manufacture a billet anti-fade in-house. So we're throwing one of these on here. And one thing that we don't really talk about, we started making heavy-duty stainless front pivot bolts for the 250R also. This also fits the ATC 250R, the TRX 450R, and I believe the 400EX. We're going to add our billet sprocket guard on here. Comes with all new hardware. And our billet brake disc guard. So let's start installing these parts. I've only been waiting about a year to do it, and it's time to get this bike going. So let's get into it. First step, get the old linkage installed. Alright guys, it's swing arm time, and I'm excited. Now, this mount actually does not match the red, but I don't really care because this came from the original Project 250R that I built many, many years ago. And I'm pretty excited about it. So this is going back on this build just in memory of that awesome bike that we had. Kind of learned how to ride on it. It was pretty cool. All right. So you can stick it in and just wiggle it a little bit. It should center it. Got it? Okay, so just stay right there. Got the old OG Project 250R motor mount. Go ahead and tap it in with your slip bit. Look at that, nice and fancy. Wow, no tapping required. Hell yeah. Yep, the old nut and washer. Comes with 2 stainless washers and a nylon locking nut. So we all know how beat up the nuts get over time. Alright, so we will tighten that after. Yeah, the red doesn't match, but you know what? I'm just excited to have it on here. I really am. Perfect. All right, shock time. All right, it's time to get the rear shock in. So everything went smooth. Just kidding, it never goes smooth on a old bike like this, but it's looking good. Pretty happy with it. So I'm gonna put some tape on the swing arm. One guy asked if this was primer gray. Do you want to like come closer? So this is actually a silver metallic powder coat, not primer gray, but it might look like that in the camera, but it definitely looks cool in person. The reason I went with this color on the swing arm, guys, is because I'm actually doing billet front arms that we're going to CNC machine. So I'm going to go with like a raw finish up front, possibly anodized clear. It's very close to this color, so that's why I went with that color. Could have went with gold. Done a lot of gold stuff in the past. Kind of going for the newer look, so I'm not too upset if it isn't gold. And if I ever want it gold, I can change it, so no big deal. I'm probably going to be doing a billet rear swing arm too, so maybe that guy will get anodized gold along with some billet A-arms in the future. So that's something that's going to come up in a future video. We're going to scan this swing arm in and actually make it out of billet in the CAD software. Not digging that at all. Let's see if that's better. That's a little better. Okay. Beautiful. Kind of zoom in on that. Nice head on that bolt. That was also chrome plated. So we cleaned that up. Looks pretty good. So now I'm going to get the little dog bone here. One thing I have noticed on these older bikes, everything requires like 3 hands for some reason. It's kind of funny. Okay. Beautiful. Nice grease fitting, aim towards the ground. It's okay. Beautiful. So as I was saying, guys, we're going to a TRX450R carrier. The reason I'm doing this, it's just so easy to get parts. We also do this on most of our swing arms for a lot of the old trikes, a lot of the new trikes. Yeah, so we're going to be offering this swing arm on our website, bbcoffroad.com. If you guys are interested in converting your 250R over to a TRX450R carrier. So the first thing I like to do is get the brake guard on, which is also the caliper bracket. Go ahead and get it nice and greased up. Cool. Beautiful. There, guys, so we're gonna get the old anti-fade ready. I actually already went ahead and pre-greased everything. I didn't think you guys wanted to watch me grease an axle for 30 minutes, but so we've got a little bit of a wear ring right here. This is a steel insert that goes on our aluminum anti-fade nut. We've also got a steel insert right here. That's so that when you put your clip on, it doesn't wear into the aluminum. So we're gonna make sure and put a little extra grease on there. We're gonna go ahead and install the disc. Got some brand new bolts with some Loctite on them already. There she is. All right, so now it's axle time. The best part about the anti-fade nut, it eliminates your brake disc hub. It's all in one unit. Pull this off so you guys can kind of see it. If you're new to the 250R, you might not know what this is. These have been made for quite a few years. We just decided to bring them in-house. Always want to make sure you have a little bit of grease on there. One tip when you guys are trying to adjust your axle after riding, if you have any dirt on here, be careful. Make sure you wash the dirt off before you actually open up the nut, because you can actually gall the threads up. That's one thing to keep in mind. Now, one thing that's different about our anti-fade nut right here, you notice there's actually a nut on here. So you can use a really large crescent wrench, or we actually have a billet wrench that goes on here. So I'm going to grab that right now. There it is. This one's been used quite a few times. I figured I would do something where we weren't using like a little piece of 1/4-inch rod that likes to bend. And honestly, if you're bending them, you're tightening them too tight anyway. But that was one thing that always bothered me on the other anti-fade nuts. They just seem to have a hole punched on them, which I don't like that on an axle nut. So there, so that's slipped in. Basically tighten this up. Now you've got clearance for your got clearance for the ring. Man, I'm getting weak in my old age. It used to be easy. Fuck me, man. I haven't pushed a ring on in a while. I used to 2-thumb it. What the hell? I'm getting weak. I used to 2-thumb it all the time. Okay. As I bend my thumbnail back. I'd like to tell you guys to 2-thumb it, but that one kind of hard. That's pretty much that. Now, if you order a genuine OEM caliper, they do not come with brake pads. If you order the Chinese aftermarket ones, I believe they do come with brake pads. Believe it or not, the China ones, they actually work pretty decent. We've experimented with those too. But I'm going with the OEM one on this build. Like this. Like this. Sort of insert it into the holder. We've got this little spring-loaded mechanism right here. It's going to push up on the pads. Before you put the bolt back in, I like to just spread them out so you're not fighting with it later. You can simply just kind of push down until that lines up and get your bolt back in. You guys are going to see me using impacts. It's because I'm trying to go quick for the old YouTube. Why does that seem stuck? Okay, there it is. Just checking the slider, make sure it was functioning correctly. So again, you're starting out like that. Now, if you buy an OEM caliper, it's also going to come with the parking brake. You can actually reuse those bolts. They're nice OEM bolts for the caliper mounting bolts. So it's the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and reuse those to mount the caliper. Now we're going to install our parking brake block off. God, everything goes together so nice when it's brand new. Got the nice parking brake block off with our logo engraved on there. I don't run an O-ring on these. I've never really had an issue with it. There's already a seal back here, so we're not really trying to keep anything out of there. If you want to put a little bit of Yellow Bond on the back side of that, you can. But I'm not going to waste time machining O-ring grooves when they're not necessary. It looks killer. Very nice. All right, so it's sprocket guard time and sprocket. Now this comes with supplied bolts. So we're basically going to go through the sprocket like normal. Then we're going to install into the sprocket hub. And then after that, if I need to, I'm going to add a couple shims to make sure that this is spaced out correctly. Now it varies based on axle manufacturer. You want to make sure this is spaced out enough. So I'm going to tell you guys right now how many you're going to use for an RPM axle. Okay. Now it depends what hub you actually get. So this is not the, I believe they have a race hub and a standard one. I believe this is the standard one. So the other one might be a little bit thicker. So just for a quick check. Yeah, it's actually, believe it or not, spaced out plenty. You take a look right there. We've got plenty of room for the chain. Looks good. So, if that's the case, don't worry about the shims. We're just going to put the nuts on. So we've got 4 washers and 4 nylon nuts. All right, I'm gonna grab some tools. I'm gonna get everything tightened up. I like to go in a crisscross pattern. So don't tighten with the Allen head, but tighten the nut. Just hold the Allen head. And when you're done, go back and torque it by hand and double check everything. The impact is great, but it's really just for speed. Sick. There it is. Put the hubs on. I'll put the chain guide on right now. Now, cool thing about this extended axle, it's adjustable. I'm going to run it on the full width extension. I want this bike to be about 50 inches wide. And again, we're going to go back and retorque everything after. But for right now, you guys kind of see what I'm going for. Cool. And then the cool thing about this resi, so it's long enough, you can actually mount it up here. So I'm going to have it mounted just behind the air scoop. I might even hide it and stick it underneath. I'm not sure yet, but I'm probably going to end up having it over here. Super easy to get to. You can kind of reach down with your left hand and adjust your clicker while you're riding, which is always nice. I believe, did we get piggybacks on the front? Did you check the shocks? They're over there in the back. Are they? Let's check them out. Kind of funny, these things have been sitting on a shelf for months. I really haven't done done anything with them. Let's see what we got here. So I remember ordering these. We got the guards on the front. Added some rebound adjusts and compression. So these are the Legacy Series shocks. I didn't see the point in spending all the money for the Stage 5s. I still really like these old school shocks. They're the steel bodies. Kind of brings back some nostalgia to the bike. They are made in Canada. Been an Elka dealer for years. They've always treated us really well. And yeah, I chose Elka again for this build. So this will be in the follow-up video with the front end, but I just wanted to show you guys a little sneak peek of that guy. But yeah, overall, it's coming together. Definitely coming together. And I'm getting excited. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. The next one should hopefully be the front end. I might come up with something else, but we'll see what we work up for the next video. Comment what you think of this build so far. Let me know if you like the silver powder coat. I'm kind of going for the newer style 88 theme. I've always loved the red, black, and silver theme. Again, let me know your comments on the TRX450R rear end. We've been doing this for years now on a bunch of bike builds that we do. It's always nice running the modern components. If you guys want any info on this rear end, head over to bvcoffroad.com and check it out. If you guys have any questions, put it in the comments, and see you guys in the next video. Wow, I'm losing my mind. What the fuck is that called? Sprocket hub? Yeah. Why is that hard for me? That don't look right. Oh, I gotta flip this. I didn't know that was off. Battery day. I know it is. Mine wasn't. I don't know. Can't really tell. Kind of holding the carrier, hands are greasy. Ready to safety this. Okay! I'm pretty excited about it. Wow, this drill's done. I can't even fucking lost my train of thought. Oh, dude.